Hi and welcome to our 2-acre world. Today I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite projects. This is a Chicknic table. It's a feed tray for your chickens. You want to talk about happy hens, you wait till they get a load of this. Stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to show you the complete build start to finish, as well as make plans available for you and show you how I market this to make a few extra dollars on the homestead. Let's get building. The first thing I'm going to do is put on my canvas apron. I love this heavy duty apron. I'll put a link for it down below. Next, I'm going to grab a pallet. I use pallet wood for most all of my homestead projects that I offer for sale, wood crafts basically. I take them apart a little bit different than most. I don't pry all the wood off and deal with all of that. All I do is take a Sawzall with a metal blade and I cut all the nails off. And I'm going to collect up all my wood. I'll usually cut off 4 or 5 pieces to get things started. Most of the nails usually fall out when you're cutting the pallet apart, but for the ones that don't, I just take a punch and a hammer and pop those nails out. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the ends where the holes are from the nails. Then I'm going to measure 1.5 inches wide on my table saw. If you're using a table saw, obviously be sure to use great caution. They can be dangerous. And I'm going to rip a few of these boards down to get my project started. I'll usually start with maybe 2. Then I'm going to cut my tabletop pieces. The tabletop pieces are going to be 15 3/4 inches long. And I'm going to need 4 of those. So then I'm going to cut the braces for the bottom of the table. They're going to be 6 inches long with a 20-degree vertical cut. And you'll see how those mount in a moment. Little coffee break. Alaska, the last frontier, established in 1959. Hey Donna, did you know that Alaska wasn't even a state when you were born? Shut up! Then I'm going to hit all the tabletop pieces with the sander. I use 80 grit for the whole project. You want to be sure there's no sharp edges on anything because these tables will get picked up and moved from time to time, as well as have the birds on them. You don't want them getting poked. After I'm happy with the sanding, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the top. I'm going to square up one edge and then I'll put some clamps on here. I don't glue the edges of the tabletop. I only glue the bracket that's going to go down below. I'm going to measure 4 inches in from the edge, and that's where I'm going to place each bracket. Everything is going to be glued and brad nailed. I'm using Gorilla Glue this time, but I'll usually use Titebond 3, I think it is. You want to make sure whatever glue you're using is made for outdoor use. It's very important. And then I'm going to brad nail everything. I'll use the brad nails through the whole project. A majority of these are going to be 1-inch 18-gauge brad nails, but you can use whatever fasteners you choose. I'll fasten these 2 braces down to the bottom, and that's going to hold the tabletop together. You can see that here. I'm just going to use box joints for the tray edges itself. I did miters for a while, but honestly I can't do very good miters, and it turned out to be just a really time-consuming headache. So the first thing I'm going to do is put on the short edges. I'll cut those to length. On the plans, that's going to be 6 inches wide. Then I'll put some glue on there, line that edge up, making sure that my edge that sticks up is on the top, which will be opposite the table supports. Do the same on the other side. And then I'll go ahead and get another measurement just to be sure. It should be 17 inches, but double check it. And then I'll get my long edges on. And I'm going to give those a good staple all the way around the perimeter. And there's the tabletop. Then I'm going to shift my miter saw over to 30 degrees. And I'm going to start cutting my legs. I need 4 legs for this table. The legs are going to be 8 3/4 inches long, with 30-degree angles going the same direction on either end. Once I've got 4 of those, I'm going to move my miter saw over to 20 degrees. And then I'm going to start cutting the top and bottom braces that will hold the legs together. 20-degree angles at each end facing opposite directions. One of these braces, the top leg brace, is going to be 7 inches wide, and the bottom will be 17 inches wide. So I'll need 2 of each. Get those sanded. Then I'm going to make a mark on center of the top leg brace, and then I'm going to simply line up the table legs onto that center mark on top of that leg brace. I'm going to glue everything up. Go ahead and get it nailed. Probably would have been best if I had a little support board underneath these, but I'm going to use a square to get that top edge lined up. And then I'll do the same for the second one. Then once those legs are fastened down to the top leg brace, then I'm going to just grab a scrap 1 1/4 piece to use as a spacer. And then I'm going to line up my 17-inch bottom leg brace, get that centered up, and glue and brad nail that. I'll do the same on the second one. And I should have 2 that look like this. Now I'm going to go to my tabletop and I'm going to make a mark on center of the table support on the bottom of the tabletop. I'm going to stand the tabletop up vertically, add some glue, and then I'm going to take my assembled legs and I'm going to put them on the outside edge of the table support and glue and nail those down. Flip the table over and do the same on the opposite side. And there's the table with the legs attached. I know the chickens are going to love this.
It's a picnic table, but it's miniature, so you can use it. You're going to love it.
Next, we're going to complete the project by getting the bench seat. The bench seat's going to be just a piece of pallet wood, 3 inches wide, 17 inches long. Sand it down nice and smooth. Then we're going to put glue on the top of the bottom leg brace where the bench seat will sit. It looks like this table's a little wonky, but it's not. It's actually my bench top that's wonky from being outdoors. So I'm going to take a square and we're going to line up the edge of that seat with the edge of the table. Both the tabletop and the bench seat are 17 inches, so they should line up on one end. That'll make them right on the other side. I'll put one staple in on one side. Bring the edge of the bench seat to the edge of the bottom leg brace on the other side. Staple that and then go back and put 3 staples. We'll do the same on the opposite side and attach the bench seat there. Line up the edge, square with the edge of the table, and brad nail it down. If you're using a brad nailer or any nails, you want to make sure that these are going in straight, remembering that these pieces are fairly thin on the vertical side. So you want to make sure that your nail gun is lined up properly. Here's a view from the end so you can get an idea of how the table legs lined up on center at the top with the center of the table and are fastened to that top leg brace. And here's the completed project.
One of the great things about this Chicknic table design is how strong it is. I had a lady contact us who said she bought a cheap Chicknic table on Amazon and her turkey got on top of it and it collapsed underneath of it. That's not going to happen with this one.
So now let's talk about marketing for a second. So far I've only marketed these on Facebook Marketplace. I've had decent success there, so I'm happy with that. I have not put them on Craigslist or anyplace else. I've only put them in my local area. I don't ship these to anybody. I guess you could. I don't want to get involved in that. So I'll put an ad up in the springtime, and I'll put 4 pictures. One with a couple of tables, another one showing the chickens using the table, another one with a single table, and another one with the chickens using the table, and I throw my peacock in there for good measure. I charge $40 for these. If you're just making one at a time, they do take you a while, but if you're batch producing these, it goes a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently. The other thing you can do is build jigs to hold all of your pieces into the proper places. I've done that in the past. If you're going to produce these to sell, you're going to want to create a couple of jigs to make your assembly process a lot easier and make sure everything's lined up proper. So because I do these seasonally and I've done it for the last 3 or 4 years, I think, my ad simply reads, it's that time of year. I have Chicknic tables available, handcrafted from locally sourced reclaimed lumber, built solid, not Amazon junk. You can stand on these. 5 available. That's how I batch them out, is 5 at a time. $40 cash, Zelle, PayPal. Message me for info. Thank you. And that's it. When I do this, I always sell them. So I do usually make 10, 12, maybe a season. I could make more if I advertised more places. I'm certain to sell more. But there's only so much time that I have to make these. I enjoy it as a hobby. I enjoy making these. The people that buy them absolutely love them. I make sure to produce a good quality product that's going to last them for many, many years that I can be proud of.
And that's how you make this cool Chicknic table for happy hands on your homestead. Hey, if you like this video, do us a favor, hit that like button, and better yet, subscribe for more homesteading videos. And if you really love this video, go ahead and check this one out next. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching our 2-acre world. Remember to build, grow, preserve, and live. Thanks for watching. Actually, I hope I got it because she's not having any of this.
A simple life.